Hey guys, this is Clayton at ClayBob's Auto. This is part 2 of putting your drum brakes back together, which is probably the more important part, way more important than tearing them down. It's good to have your brakes work. Okay, so in part 1, if you missed it, we took everything off. And if you did miss it, please go watch it, because it's half of the process. Anywho, we cleaned off our backing plate. And if you can see on here, I'm going to shine my light, which I can't. Oh, it's in my pocket. That's why I can't find it.
Is that where it's at? It's in your pocket?
My pocket light. If you can see here, on each one of these flat spots, that's where your shoe rubs. So we put grease on them, as you can see. Greasy, greasy, greasy. And if you look on your pad, you've got 3 spots. And we put a little bit of grease on there. You don't need much, because if you put too much on there, you're just going to make an awful, awful mess and get grease everywhere, and then your brakes are not going to work. So, we greased everything up, and now it's time to put them back on. So the first thing we need to do is put on our parking brake. Here's the cable. There's the attachment. Slide her on there, like so. And again, if you've seen part 1, I know I told you if the clip is broken, please replace it. Well, we are dirt poor, so we cannot actually afford a new clip right now. We could if you guys like and subscribe to our videos. It'd be nice. So anyway, do not pay any attention to the missing parts of this clip. So I've got it in. I'm going to put my clip on with my handy dandy pliers, like so. And again, normally if I had the other end of the clip, this is very important, you want to squeeze the 2 ends together so this does not come off. Don't have the other end of the clip, but that does not mean I can't squeeze this part on and make it at least a little bit harder for it to.
This is how po folk do it.
We are shoestring budget, which means we have to sell shoestrings on the street to survive. Okay, so I got that on. It's not going anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and put it up, like so. And I'm going to put my, before I do that, I got to put the rest of the assembly on there. That might help, because you want brakes that work, not that just look nice. Okay, so I got that on. I'm gonna put it up here. Like this. Okay, I'm going to put it in like that and put my spring on to hold this guy up. And again, if you have the tool, that's great, makes it a heck of a lot easier. If you don't, that doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you'll look a little awkward doing it.
Kind of like you, right?
Kinda, but not, you won't look as cool as I do. So, if I can do this without hurting myself and others around me.
He wants to hurt me.
But that's beside the point. Okay. Put it on and twist. That's in. I did that so this won't go anywhere. Okay, I got it in. My very bottom spring. I'm going to go ahead and slide it on. Or make it look like I'm sliding it on. There we go. Going to take my other pad, and like I said, remember, you have a primary and secondary pad. Do not get them mixed up. If you do, your brakes can be very grabby, or they just will not work. I'm going to go ahead and put my parking brake bar in here, like so. See how it fits on here? And and that's what makes your parking brake work. Your parking brake pulls on that big lever that I had to attach with that clip, and it pulls it this way, pushes on this bar like so, and basically pushes both shoes out. So I got my other shoe, got it all greased up, and on my hand. Try to make sure you don't get any grease on the friction material. Keep it as clean as possible, because you don't want it on your shoes. Just like your normal shoes in real life.
Wait a minute, you wear shoes?
I call them foot prisons. Alright. Now, and again, it's going to take some time. There's a lot of technique to it. If you're not sure, you got another side to reference, unless you were done and took that apart at the same time, and if you did, well, you're kind of screwed. Alright, so I got that on to where it goes in like it's supposed to, and I got my little that now. You always want to have one hand in the back too, because if you don't, these things are not held in on the back with anything. They just push through.
Let me ask you a question. Those screws, or those springs, I'm sorry, do they just screw right in like a standard screw?
The springs? Or the
Yeah, like these, right here.
These guys?
Yeah.
Well, number one, springs don't screw. Spring, spring. Screw, screw.
Well, this is obvious, but...
Now, what you mean, you can turn them either way. Like I said, this is, the little point is arrow-shaped, and it's flat, like a flathead screwdriver. And as you can see, there's a flat slot through there, so that you can fit it through, and then you twist it 90 degrees, and that's what keeps it in. It keeps it held in.
Okay.
So you can turn it left or right, doesn't matter. Another thing to point out, if any of these screws, now you've got me saying it. If any of these springs, any of them are rusty, broken, worn out, whatever, you need what is called a brake hardware kit. You can get it from the same place you get your brakes, and it comes with all new springs, retainers, the whole lot. So it's always some cheap insurance. They're not that much. We didn't get them because, obviously, we're not changing brakes right now. We're just showing you for demonstration purposes. Okay, moving on. We've got our adjuster here, and this one, whenever you take your adjuster out, you want to get it clean. You want to take the one side off that just spins and put some grease in there so it is nice and spinny. And then the other part that is threaded, you want to take it out, clean it, put grease on it so it doesn't seize up, and you want to put it in the way it originally was, which I know this one was threaded part in, facing forward. Turn it in all the way, because when you put on new shoes, they're going to have a lot of friction material, and you're not, if you put the adjuster back in the way it was, your drum's not going to fit on, because this will actually move out as your drums or as your shoes wear. So, put it all the way in, come up underneath, see how I can, I forgot to add the fact that this bottom spring we forgot to put on. I try to recommend putting the spring on first. And if it's very difficult, like this one is being, you can even take it a step further and take your guy back off, like so. And again, what Rob was asking, nice catch. What Rob was asking was if you had to turn these one way. Like I said, a little closer look here, it's slotted like a little flathead screwdriver, and it just you push it in the back, and the way it holds on is it uses the tension of this spring on your shoe, and this has a slot in it. So when it fits in like so, and then you turn it 90 degrees and it locks it. Simple but effective. Okay. Sometimes, like I said, these can be a pain in the butt to put in if they're on the back of the shoe. So luckily this is your bottommost one. Not that big of a deal. I just went ahead and put it on. I didn't have to take everything apart. So I've got it on. See, people, even professionals make mistakes sometimes. We just won't always admit it.
Wait a minute, mistakes? I don't make mistakes.
I call them teaching opportunities. Or learning, depending on which side you're on.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't make mistakes.
That I doubt.
I just mess up.
Well, that makes sense.
Thanks.
I know you'd be lying if you said you never made a mistake.
No. Of course, I make mistakes all the time.
See, that wasn't a mistake. This is a learning opportunity here.
Learning
opportunity. Learning is learn to get the right tools when you do this, and it makes it a lot easier. It's not impossible using the other tools, your handheld tools, but using your specialty tools makes it a heck of a lot easier. Mainly, here we go. Mainly, you don't have springs flying out at your face.
Well, generally, when springs fly at your face, that's not. I would assume that's not a good thing. Yes.
Yeah, I call that bad. But you know, that's professional terminology there. Okay.
All right.
Put your little washer on, and again, since I laid everything out, I know where it goes. Actually, before I do that, before I get too far along, like I was talking about my adjuster, I got my put it all the way in. I'm gonna spread my pads and pop this sucker in. And again, everyone has different ideas. You don't have to put it in like that. You can do it, you know, you can do it your own way if you want to. Everybody's different. Whatever tickles your pickle. All right. So I got all that done. Now I just need my 3 springs. So I've got my bottom spring there that I got. I hook it in. And again, make sure you're using the right holes. There are a lot of holes on these shoes. If you kind of lose track, go to the other side and take a look. Hook it in. And again, I'd normally use my... You can use your spring tool like so. This is where it'll make it a lot easier. See that? Easy. It's nice to have the right tools.
Yeah, I wish I had one of those.
Well, it's good that you don't do brakes.
Yeah, really.
And second one. It's always a good idea too, especially when you're first starting out, to wear safety glasses, because springs fly, and if they hit you in the face, and if they hit you in the eye especially, it kind of hurts. Trust me on that one.
Yeah, the last thing I expected was, you know, wear safety glasses, because losing an eye would be bad.
Yeah, you only got 2. Okay,
Right.
Now you've got everything together. I usually like to see how everything's able to move. It's moving freely. Nothing's binding up. I'm going to sit here and kind of feel around and make sure that my pad is centered, which it is. And I'm going to take my drum, and normally you can take these to a machine shop and get a machine, because this lip right here is going to throw you off. It's going to be really hard. Going to be really hard to get it on. But once you put it all the way in, you'll see, like I'm about to demonstrate, kind of hard to put on, and there. And as you can see, There's no friction at all. It's just
Spins perfectly.
just loosely on there. You want to have a little bit of drag, but not too much. If you have too much,
Means your brakes are too tight.
well, your mileage is going to go down and you're going to wear your brakes out really fast. And you don't want that. And I can't feel my feet.
Neither can I.
So, but you don't want them too loose either, because if you do that, they're not going to work. Your parking brake's not going to work. Just not a good thing. So whenever you adjust them, I just pop this little plug out of the back. Every drum assembly should have a plug somewhere, and it's, since my adjuster's on the bottom, it was on the bottom. And I can take a flathead screwdriver and come into the back and start hitting that wheel, and you'll hear it click, 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 and it'll be tightening. And as you're doing that, you want to turn this, and you just want it to have a little bit of drag on your brakes. Like I said, you don't want it to where you can't turn it, but you want to get it just tight enough so when you pull your e-brake, this locks up, and when you let it go, you can spin it and you can feel it just dragging. And that's it. That's all it is. All there is to drum brakes. If you want to see something, please leave it in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe our page. And this is Clayton at ClayBob Auto. I will see you next time. Bye.